What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog here on this Friday before I take off on Freedom Friday to go to see Mortal Kombat. Had a full day of calls, full day of the post office and mailing and stamping and tracking. But I had to do this one really quickly, and it is in the Vortex of Abundance series. I want you to understand that a lot of times you aren't disqualified from abundance. No matter all this other stuff going on in your personal life, you aren't disqualified. What a lot of you have to understand is your cup is full. Now, hear me out. Just like this coffee cup, if it's full, I can't pour new stuff into it, right? Now, let me take it here. The school system in Michigan won a lawsuit that teachers don't have to teach your child how to read. It legally says your child should come to school already reading. And people are like, oh my God, they're upset in the streets. They want to sue some more. And I'm sorry, but I actually agree with the school system here. This teacher is already getting a child that is full of what? Whatever you have dumped into that child, when they get to that school, that teacher's job is literally just moving around those crazy ideals you gave them and improving them and adding on top of. That's why you'll send kids to school for years, but then you go see their home life and it's a crazy mess and the child replicates the home life. The first teacher in your child's life is the parent. The cup of the child, even at 5 years old, is already full, right? So my nephew, prime example, he uses on demand on the TV to type in Spider-Man and Superman and Batman and whatever shows, cartoons you want to look up, Bubble Guppies, whatever, right? And the teacher said, wow, out of all these students, and this is a mixed school, but a lot of white and Asian students, he can spell everything. He can say it out loud. He can read. He can do all this. What's the secret? What are y'all doing in the afternoons with him? And my aunt my mom and my sister literally were like, he uses on demand. And the teacher was confused. Like, you mean like on demand on the TV? She said, yeah, he types in the words he wants to watch on demand. And that's what we've been doing this whole pandemic, is letting him type in the words. If he wants to see something, we won't type it. We make him spell it out on the TV. So when I'm riding the car with him, he's like, stop, S-T-O-P. He's just going through the motions of a child who's already learning, already reading, even though it's something as simple as on demand. Define the movie or the kid show he wants to watch, he's already light years ahead of other students when he's there. And this is kindergarten, right? This is during the pandemic. And when she was explaining that, I was actually kind of sad, because I said, if he's coming to school with a minor, just loving how to spell Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, his own name, and random things he can see, what's going on with the kids that are there? And it made me think of talking on tonight and saying, a lot of times your cup is full. It's full of something, right? Whether it's songs, whether it's numbers, whether it's something your parents have said, your family has said, it's in there. So a lot of times when you come out here in a world, on YouTube, wherever, and someone presents new information to you and it conflicts with what you think up here, you're like, no. And you start getting angry. You start anger responding in the comments. You start trying to argue with me in the community tab. And you do this all over YouTube. You do this all over Facebook. And I can see where people to this day will go, it's somebody's fault. And I go, whose fault is it? Right? So and we can do this all night. We can say women are like, oh, it's men's fault. Men will go, this is women's fault. You talk to somebody, why is your family in poverty? Oh, it's the white man's fault. It's the government. It's the this. There's no accountability, because the cup is already full with the excuses of it's someone else's fault. Instead of saying, you know what, my cup is full, and what you're saying me sounds good, sounds truthful. You're showing me data points, you're showing me information, and you gave me all this information, but I can't seem to comprehend it. So now I'm mad with you. And this is adults. I'm not even talking about, because I'm talking about adults, right? Because a lot of time kids, new information can kind of be flexible, right? All the way to up, I think age is 8, 8 years old, kids can learn multiple languages very easily. That's why they're trying to teach them Spanish in school and all this different stuff. And the reason is they don't create these invisible barriers. They're not creating invisible barriers. Adults do that. Adults do that, right? I get on the phone with people and you start talking to them and I go, well, hey, you just need to do this many tasks in the afternoon. Well, Erica, I got to watch Netflix. Okay, I got to go to the gym for an hour. Okay, I'm like, cool. And then I got to do something. And really what you got to do is you're going to veg out for 3 hours. You're going to come home after the gym. Let's say you do the gym. And you're going to veg out mentally for 3 hours. Well, Erica, work was so exhausting. Now, I'm not asking you to change your whole life in 2 days. I'm not asking you that. What I'm asking you to do is look at your habits that you do every day. You tell me you want A and you're doing B. Prime example, a lot of women will say, and I'm sorry, all these are just blue light blockers. I've been looking at the screen all day. A lot of people will be like, oh, I can't find any new friends. I can't find any new events. I'm going to move to Florida. I'm going to move to Texas. I'm going to move somewhere else. And you get here and you will do the exact same behavior that you were doing back in New York, Ohio, Tennessee, wherever, because you've created a habit of that, right? I have one friend that calls me every Friday. Hey, what you doing? You going on a date tonight? Every Friday, like clockwork. This is what he says. Not because he's trying to be funny, but because in his mindset, Friday means date night, or it means go out night, or it means do this night, because we program ourselves. We program ourselves. Okay? Now listen, I know we all right now watching the Kevin Samuel show, and I get it. I want y'all to go watch it. But what I want you to understand is these ladies' cups that are calling in this show are full of what? Just information that maybe doesn't match up to what they're experiencing in real life. So they go on there and they try to get some kind of feedback to say that I am worth it. And this is no knock to Kevin Samuels. I've had my father my whole life, and I even had my stepfather my whole life. Both have passed, unfortunately. And as I become an adult, and I have over 6 uncles and 20 boy cousins. Now, why do I bring this up? Because a lot of times Black people assume, well, you was raised by a single mama and you don't know anything and you don't know. And I go, this is not healthy. You should have enough data points in your adult life, in your family, and if even not in your family, but in other places that can reinforce what you think is true. Right? Now, prime example, no one is disqualified from abundance. Let me be very clear. Let me just say what I want to say without tiptoeing. I see fat, ugly women married every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I just had to say it. I see it everyday life, when I go out, when I walk out, when I go outside, when I'm in restaurants, when I'm at churches. Again, people will tell you you're disqualified from abundance, and that's just not true. It's just not true. Now, doing things that are not helpful to your future, I understand. I watched a video and I put in the community tab of a young lady. She's 27. And she is just super gung-ho about children. She's 27. She's like, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and have a child. I'm just gonna go out of order and just have the child and raise the child. And they're like, what? Now, let me be very clear. Some of the newest numbers of single moms are people that are 37 to 40. No shade, no knock. I understand people are trying to beat the clock of 40 something in their head, and I give grace to that. Because that person wants to have motherhood in their life, I'm not gonna knock them. But at 27, who has imprinted in you, in your mind, and filled your cup with that you're never gonna have the opportunity to marry, love, and start your own family with someone? That girl didn't start believing that at 27. Somewhere from 5 years old to 27, someone has been telling her negative things, that she's disqualified from a happy, loving relationship, that she's disqualified from marriage. I'm not gonna tell nobody that mess, because I've seen it. I've seen all types of women's You know what I mean? In relationships of various sizes. I'm trying not to be an asshole right now. But I want you to understand, you have to, it starts here. Do you believe you are worthy of the best? And this is not just a physical, I'm talking about the food you eat, where you shop. I used to get on my family really bad. They would go to this place called Kinlaw's in North Carolina, and it smelled like dead horse meat up in there. Okay. It was a butcher shop from back in the day, and it stunk. It stunk. Okay. And I was like, why are y'all still shopping at this location? Y'all are grown adults who have money in your pocket, yet you drive back across town to the country nowheres where we all used to live in the country when y'all were younger and shop at this store. Why? It's up here. They live all the way across town the other way. They live almost 45 minutes the other way across town, but yet they have imprinted in their minds that this is the food place that they go to, that they eat food from, that they purchase food from, and they're getting a good deal. This is why it's so absolutely dangerous that if you have cheap parents or parents that are in poverty, the stuff you are picking up, you will carry till you're 50 years old. 50 years old. I've got an aunt that's 50 and an aunt that's 76 years old. Well, 52 to say, because our grandma had a long birthing span, okay? All the way to her, she was 42. So that's why when people tell me about these ages, I'm like, hey, natural. People was having babies a long time. But you have to understand, if you don't program your mind and check what people are saying to you and what you're allowing into your cup could be full of crap. Your cup could be full of these terrible thought processes, these terrible ideals, these things that don't make no sense. And when somebody like me or anybody in there comes to you with, hey, here's a little positivity, you can't process it. You can't process it. That's why when you see all these people selling these courses, and everybody's like, oh, I gotta buy them. Listen, the number one reason I put Rise of 20% together is because it's your mindset. And yes, we bring in coaches that every week are giving you live coaching. That would cost thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars. Because I know you need the reinforcement of a group, of a community. And my goal is to get 1,000 people in that bad boy, because I know people are improving their life through community, through immersion. When you keep learning stuff here on YouTube or wherever you go, and then you go tell your Uncle Jojo about it, then Uncle Jojo goes, oh, no one's never made any money in trucking. Oh, everybody's poor and in poverty, right? If you go tell your mom about real estate, oh, I don't know anything about that. You have to be very careful who you're talking to, what you're assessing into your life. Listen, I've already told y'all this. There's a restaurant we went with our friends a couple of days ago, and I went 2 weeks ago, and the restaurant person was like, hey, Thai something, this Thai particular food I used to always buy. And I quit coming because up here changed. I can't keep eating that and be over here. Something has to give in the mind, right? And when they saw me, they knew my food order. That's how many times I've been there. Because we're people of habit. We're creatures of habit. We keep doing the same stuff over and over and over and over again. And we don't even realize how much we're doing it over again and reinforcing bad habits without outside accountability. We don't. So again, no one is disqualified from living well. There has to be some accountability on what you do from here on out. Now, listen, I'm not going to disregard racism. I'm not going to disregard stuff after you, but you have two spears. You have a hopeless spear. Oh, stuff is happening to me. I'm just reacting to stuff happening to me. Oh, this bad stuff always happens to me. And then you have a spear over here where you have hope, because you have this under the things you can control. Can I control walking every day? For sure. Can I control being at a stand-up desk? Sure. Can I control what I eat? Yes. Can I control my environment? Yes. Can I control who I hang out with? Yes. Can I control the new hobbies I want to pick up? Yes. Right? Can I control who has access to even talk to me? Yes. See, that's why people want to quit their job so daggone bad, is they want to have control of the access to people that are talking to them. You go to work and you got funky spirits and attitudes all over the place. It's not the job, it's the people. Their cups are full of crap, right? And so a lot of times, this is what I want you to understand. A lot of y'all are fighting what other people will think of you. Well, if I do that, what will people think? If I date that man, what will people think? Girl, ain't nobody worried about what you dating. Ain't nobody care. You date that man that's ugly and makes money or whatever, and go off into the sunset and mind your business. Because guess what? Majority of people learned in 2020 when this crisis hit that they had to focus on what? What was in their sphere of control, who was in their house. That's why people want to get out of these roommate situations like hotcakes, and where their money was going and how it was being made. Does that make sense? You have to understand that there are things under your control and things you cannot control. That's why all these people want to buy a house. And people are like, oh, it's because it's monkey see, monkey do. No, people get tired of living in small, cramped, tiny apartments. Then they got their kids there all day. They have not taught their kids the definition of schedules because they're not even on a schedule. So it's just utter chaos in their apartment. So they move to a house thinking we're going to move to this house and everything's going to be beautiful. No, you're just going to repeat the cycles of chaos that you had at the apartment. You're just moving to a bigger space. Okay? And that's what's fueling the housing industry is you cramp people in their house all year long. They're about to go crazy. Same thing in New York. You cramp people in these tiny apartments, and something that worked because you were out and about for 10 hours a day now no longer serves you. And that's what I'm hoping a lot of you get today. Some of the beliefs you were holding, they no longer serve you. If you're 40 years old still talking about what your mama and daddy and somebody else did, and then I asked you what happened the past 5 years, and you have no kind of real, that no longer serves you. Let that go. If you're a 50-year-old man still talking about your mama and your daddy and them, you need to let that go. Some of them people have already been dead. I remember this guy talking about his mom, and I was like, dang, oh, she died. Why are you still talking about this woman like this? You need therapy. You need therapy, baby. Yes, she left a big imprint on your mind, but what you've been able to control in the past 6 years since she died, you talking like she is here beside you. And this is the stuff you see out here on this internet, okay? Not everybody that's on the internet is in a healthy mental space. Some of these folks is crazy, and people are following them, okay? So again, great book is Atomic Habits. Again, other people are living well. Do not be confused. You allow what you've allowed and tolerated. You don't have to do that anymore. I put a post up on Facebook and it got like, I don't know, 60 likes and people just sharing it. And it was like, the best therapy is forgiving someone in silence and never speaking to them again. Okay, cool. See, a lot of y'all have people living rent-free in your mind that are already dead and gone, that aren't even working with you no more. You got people telling stories of something that happened 20 years ago. I remember talking to this guy one time, and we weren't talking. It was in a group setting, and he was talking about his ex-wife, and I said, dang, that's messed up. Well, how long you been divorced? Oh, 11 years. Sir, you talking about this woman like this was yesterday. That was 11 years ago. You got people talking about child support, and their children are 35 years old. You got people talking about how they financially could never get right because of 2008 housing crisis. It's been 12 years since the housing crisis of 2008. In the 12-year span, you have not adjusted your income, your learning, your thought process, where you live. You haven't trimmed the fat. Some of this is like, you guys got to really listen to how people are talking. They have unresolved issues and their cup is full of crap. So you have to determine, when I come into somewhere and I hear something, if it's positive, put it in. If it ain't positive, get it out. There's something Derek Gray says all the time. Procter & Gamble, several people talk about it. Learn and unlearn. What you will learn in the next 10 years of this economy, whether it goes up, down, sideways, zoo, crazy, drought, is the people who could learn something, unlearn it, and keep it moving are going to be the winners of our society. Point blank, period. The book, Who Moved My Cheese? It's a classic. Why is it a classic? Because we know actual people who live in parts of West Virginia. Listen, I'm going to even use Detroit. I know people from Detroit might get mad, but y'all get over it. There are people who left the South in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s and went to Detroit, and it was on and popping. I mean, it's on and pop. They just out there just whoop, 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 get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. In the 80s and 90s and 2000s, when Detroit started just suffering and suffering and suffering and suffering and going down, these people were still there like, this is the best thing ever. And when you talk to people now, they want to retire and come down south. Oh, you know, the South's so bad, it's so this. You're like, baby, you're not even, who moved the cheese? Look at the city. It's destroyed. What are you talking about? So the book Who Moved My Cheese applies for real people's lives. Some people are still up there in Detroit like, well, you know, it just need a few pieces of paper and a little bit of that, and a little bit of this. Yes, they're investing billions of dollars in the city. They are bringing the city back to some normally, but it will never be Detroit ever again, right? And you have people who left North Carolina, Virginia 50 years ago, still talking about how bad it is. They haven't been back. When you ask people what they've been doing the past 5 years, it's literally a holding pattern. You ever been on the plane and the plane's supposed to take off? And you sitting out there, you're like, man, what's going on? I'm sick of sitting on this plane. When they gonna move it? Oh, look, you guys, we're in the pattern. It's gonna be any moment now. We're in the lineup. Any moment. You still sit out there in the jetway like, I know this man lying because we ain't moved. I'd have felt the plane move. And then finally it takes off. What happens is you're talking to people who literally have been in a runway pattern for 10 plus years, and then wake up one day and be like, oh, my wife divorced me. Wake up one day, my kids are mad at me. Wake up one day, my money ain't where it's supposed to be. Because people think you can get super comfortable and drift for 10, 20 years. That's not how life works, right? You know, the whole verse and sermon, my cup runneth over, is an abundance thing. It's an abundance thing. You have to first understand that, one, you deserve abundance. You're worthy of it. Two, you have to understand the scarcity mindset that you're dealing with, the holding patterns that you are holding yourself hostage to. Prime example, Floyd Hunt, I'm about to block you. Because I want people to understand Texas is still growing out this way. It's not growing up this way. This is why y'all come with such hostility. Oh, Texas, and I go, baby, people hate things that grow and stir and move. People hate that because people want to have consistent, safe little consistency that doesn't exist anywhere. It doesn't exist in nature. Things rust. Things fall apart. There's a whole book, a book about things fall apart. It's a great book for this. Another one, put on your thing, China Chune, I'm messing his African name up. It's a book called Things Fall Apart. They forced us to read it in high school. They forced us to read in college. And it was a man who, he had an adoptive son from war. And he loved him and he cared for him. And the people were like, hey, you have to do this thing. And it was about the old tribal ways. And the man was stuck in old tribal ways that he was going to kill this boy. And the men around were like, hey, man, we don't even live like that no more. What you doing? We ain't did the tribal ways in like 30 years, bro. Stop. What you doing? And he was so stuck in old tribal ways that he was like, I'm going to kill this child that I love because I can't let go of old things. And that is where a lot of you are going to die alone, not with nobody beside you, but in old, stuck, stinky, trash can thinking by yourself. Because your spouse may be beside you, but they're not with you in that old trash can thinking. You ever seen somebody whose grandpa died and then the grandma out, bingo, she got a new wig, she got new clothes, she driving the car, she went on about life, and you go, what happened? See, they was on two different tracks, right? He's still over here. She already like, let's get up and go. Let's move on. I've seen it the reverse. Listen, my grandpa, his second wife died 12 years ago, and he still talks about her like it was yesterday. And I love that about him. I really do. But I'd be like, Grandpa, you know, you can take one of these other little nice ladies, old ladies out, you know, with the cat and night, you know, you're still in good health. You could go do that. No, I ain't gonna do that. And it's a mirror. It's men from a different time. But also, It's a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. So again, the books I mentioned were Atomic Habits, Things Fall Apart, and the other one was, I think somebody posted in here. Thank you, I appreciate you. Who Moved My Cheese? These are books you need to read. If you have to, get yourself a physical copy. Another thing is the 4-Hour Work Week. I know everybody always recommends that, but I want to recommend it again because I want you to understand that we fill up the space. Whatever work we have, we fill it up, right? Prime example. A lot of people quit their job and they start a business. They're like, yeah, I got a business. And then they're just working all day and night. They're working all day and night. They're working every weekend. They're doing all this stuff. And their family's like, look, I thought you started this business to spend more time with the kids. I thought you started this business to spend more time with your wife. I thought you spent it to have more vacation time. We will fill whatever time you give us with tasks. We'll just fill it up. If you, and the great part of the book, it says, if you had a heart attack on Tuesday, let's say you had a heart attack Tuesday, and now your doctor says, listen, you can't work more than 4 hours a day. All of a sudden, you find a way to get all your work done in 4 hours a day. Your doctor comes back and says, hey, look, Rick, listen, baby, you can't work more than 2 hours a day. We checked it. We let you do 4 hours. It was too much. Now you can only do 2 hours. Guess what? You'll figure out a way to get that work done in 2 hours a day. Now what happened? Rick was working 80 hours a week. He doing all this stuff. When your life depends on it, all of a sudden you get real concrete on how much time does it take to finish a project? How much time does it take to really do something? That's why when I hear these people talking about, well, time's on my side, I'm gonna wait till I'm 40 and 50 years old to start living life and doing stuff. It's like, hey, that don't even make good sense, brother. Average black man be kicking out of here at 62. You just saw DMX and Black Rob and all these people kicking out at 50. You sure you want to wait till 45 and 50 to start having a life? You better not believe that stuff, baby. You better not believe it. You better get to living today. Now, I know that hypothetical, you got hit by a bus tomorrow thing, but you better be building something today. Don't wait till you're 50 and all of a sudden now your back hurt, your knees hurt. Well, I need something else. I need a different business. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, I know people in their 20s and 30s, they working under their parents' old business, and they come in there and show their parents, hey, y'all ain't got to work this many hours. You can do this, and this in a couple hours a week. But their parents have been in the business all these years, just showing up, filling their whole calendar up with it, because that's what they were trained. You just work to a workhorse till you die. So again, you have to determine what your life is going to look like. What does abundance look like for you? How we're going to move forward, and realize you deserve it. You deserve it. A lot of times y'all are, when I'm on the phone with y'all, you're like, well, I think I want to try. And I'd be like, well, damn, do you believe it for yourself? Do you think you deserve more? Do you think you deserve better? I mean, I can't breathe life into you. I ain't Jesus. I'm just here to hear you and give you some suggestions to move left or right. You got to believe it. And if you truly believe it, it becomes your life. Prime example, I'm gonna just say Max Chewing. He was living in Virginia. He had his own little gym. He's promoting the supplements. And he kept coming down here at Kristen Guzman. He was like, you know what? These are my real friends. I don't even hang out with my Virginia. Moves to Houston, business blows up, adds sour strips, adds all these things. Why? Because every day that became his life. These people he was around, he was immersed in those people, in that environment, in that ecosystem where they're going to help each other do what? They're going to help them do what? Get in the H-E-B stores, get in the gas stations. There's a bottling company right here in Austin, and two companies came up with like little Texas tea, and what was the other one? It's another drink that came right out of here Austin where somebody just came up with an ideal, and they start going to all the little 7-Elevens around here and going all to H-E-Bs. But it starts with belief. It starts with belief in yourself and being immersed in that environment. If you tell me, Erica, I want to flip houses this year, I should not even see you on your timeline. With every day when I see you, it ought to be something about flipping houses, money, houses, people, houses, serving people, houses. Every person I see you hang out with for the next 90 days ought to be housing. Every Facebook group you in, it ought to be housing. Every video you watch, it better be housing. Seriously, I mean, I really want you to understand when people tell me they want something and I just go look at their actions, I go, well, you said you want this. I don't know how bad you want it. I don't really know, right? I was at the gym the other night and it was like 10 o'clock and I'm in there like, man, I want to fucking be in here, man. I want to go home. I'm just pedaling my little feet out, just pedaling on the bike, watching YouTube on the little phone. And I realized there were people in there standing around, kind of working out. And then there was a guy in there, he was just in there deadlifting his life away, just bang, bang, bang. I'm like, oh my God. You know why? Because he was convinced, okay, that I need to be in here giving it 150%. And that's just it. Some people are there just to be in the space. Some people are like me, I'm giving it a half-ass, I'm pedaling on the bike, I'm not really there mentally. And then some people are really going after it, and that's what you're seeing in our society is, yeah, a lot of people can fake the funk on Instagram. But then all of a sudden when I start talking about stimulus checks, I'm like, how are you getting a stimulus check? You make less than $75,000 a year? And people are like, y'all out here shaming people. No. I'm just trying to match what you're presenting me online with what you said. Okay? When you have to cut checks in the $30,000 a month range and people talking about stimmy in Miami, I'm like, baby, we're not even there. We're over here. We got big adult problems. We got bigger problems than that. So anyways, let me see what y'all got in here real quick before I leave out. I'm telling you, yeah, the children pick up whatever's presented to them. That's why these kids know every Megan Thee Stallion song, but can't count. Listen, let me tell you something, Floyd. This is, Floyd, you was tripping earlier, but I'm gonna give it to you, Floyd. Listen, this summer, I'm hiking with a group, and every day I'm on the Stairmaster. People are like, why are you on the Stairmaster? I'm like, because I'm not gonna be out there in Utah about to die. I ain't falling off no rocks. I'm gonna be out there getting it. You have to go while you are young. If you go look at those videos of people when they travel, when they're old, they need somebody to wheelchair them off the airplane. They're trying to do all this stuff. It's not worth it. Landlord 84, that's not even a good question. The quality of your question gives you the quality of your answer. That question is too basic, it's too generic, it makes no sense. Any generic answer I give you will make no sense. 10K, I'll tell you to invest it in yourself and put it back in your pocket. If that, you know what I mean? Again, the quality of the question determines the quality of the answer. Thank you so much. He said, I need to make more money to afford my OnlyFans subscription. Listen, Calvin, we all need goals. I'm glad you super chatted and support the channel. There you go. Listen, my on Instagram, it lets you put music with it. So I was putting a lot of Roy Ayers, a lot of 70s, 80s music. And they're like, Erica, you follow this music? And I go, yes, just because I listen to country music, don't listen to a wide variety of music. Listen, you have to really up here. It's up here. It's up here. Your kids will see what you think about yourself. I mean, again, I've seen people, mom date like weird bums, and the kids are like, Mom, like, is that what you think of yourself? These are grown kids. These are grown people. Your mom finding people at the redneck bar. It ain't no, it's just too much. Honey, this is life. Everywhere you go, there you are. If everywhere you go, there's a problem, there you are. Thank you, Bankroll Becky. Becky, I appreciate it. There you go. Talk to them babies. Them babies can hear you. I remember there was a guy, he was in a coma, vegetative state coma, and he was saying he remembered that his mother came in one time and was like, I wish you died so I can go on my life. And when he woke up, he told her that, and she just was devastated. But it was like, those people can hear you in the hospital. Landlord, that's a shitty. Listen, baby, you have to understand the quality of your question is the quality of the answer. I'd say no to all three of those. No, 10K is not enough. Honestly, let's be really, really critical, you guys. 50K. You know, anytime you try to throw money at a problem is a problem. This person's not even super chat. Right? So again, you got 10K. Let's say you want to do stocks. You need to go drop 2 to 5K in maybe Terry's class or somebody else's class, but you need to be immersed in that class, learning and training every week, studying, educating yourself, and then you take the other 5K and put it in the stock market. Right? This is so generic. I don't know you. I don't know your abilities. I don't know your talents. You could be a hothead. You could be a gambler. You could be an emotional man that don't make good decisions. Any of these. So just saying, what should I do with 10K? It don't matter because it's a throwaway question. Because I don't know you. You could be anybody and be making bad decisions with it either way. 10K in real estate, that's a seller financing deal, maybe. That's it. Like, again, quality of the question, quality of the answer. People laugh at age 40 with kids under 10. Honey, I was not giving my 20s to nobody's children. Hey, Super Sly, hello. Hello, this is Pastor Dowell's twin brother, you guys, Super Sly 75. What's my honest opinion? I actually know Kevin Samuels. I was actually scheduled to do a show with Kevin Samuels before he blew up, and I didn't do the show. And looking back, what an idiot I am, right? At the end of the day, Kevin Samuels is just a mirror. He's just a mirror. All it is women come on and they're saying what they truly feel about themselves, unfortunately, right? Some of these girls have low self-esteem, but they're pretending like, I'm hot and I'm sexy. If you really felt that you were hot and sexy, you wouldn't be calling a show of a random man and asking him, does he think you're hot and sexy? Hot and sexy women ain't doing that. They out on Friday in a tight dress, living their best life. These are low self-esteem people calling in. And honestly, SJ warriors, where these people are like, social justice, why are you calling this man show? Go live your life. So again, he's just a mirror of society, just like, any of these people, Greg, Coach Adam, any of these personalities online. There are men and women who are hurt and sad in our society. And when they go online, they literally type what they're hurt and sad about, and they go find it. This is the nature of people. And we'll close it out with this one. If you were to start from scratch with nothing, how would you start over at 32? At 32, I would literally write down, where do I want to be in 5 years, which for you would be 37, or where would I want to be in 10 years, which will be 42. And I do this every day now, 5 and 10-year increment goals. The goal of your life is to one, find fulfillment, right? A purpose-driven life. That's another great book. Write it down, The Purpose-Driven Life. And 2, if you say, hey, and again, this is the degrees. What does start over mean? Did you get divorced? Again, quality questions, quality of answers. Did you get divorced? Did you run out of money? Are you over leveraged? What does start over mean? Let's say you had a car and you ran out of money. Let's just say it happens. It happens to people. They make bad decisions. They don't know. If 90% of business owners don't know their numbers, 90% of Americans don't know their numbers. Okay, just everyday life. And I had a car. I'd literally put myself into delivering pizzas. I'd be delivering pizzas again. I'd be delivering food. I'd be Uber Eatings. I'd be doing all that. And I would get myself up to $100 to $300 a day. I'd be a noble motoree. I mean, I would literally have my day stacked. That 12 hours of my day is income producing. And then at the end of the day, I look at my numbers. Well, how much did I bring in? How much money did I have? Okay, how much do I need to get an apartment that I need to get in, right? I would look at those things strongly. And I would stay on this track for at least 45 to 60 days. Why? Because depending on your problems and depending on what you mean by starting over, in 45 to 60 days, let's say 2 months. Let's just say you stick with it for 2 months. If you make it $300 a day after everything's said and done, $300 a day times 30 days, which again, I'm telling you, if you're starting over at 32, and let's say you're about to be homeless, you need to be working every day, point blank period. 300 a day times 30 days is $9,000. If you have such a problem that $9,000 in 30 days can't solve it, you got crackhead problems. You got a whole destroyed life problems. When I tell people, when I mean starting over, I mean get rid of everything, let go of everything, liquidate everything, sell everything. Like no, don't hold on to anything. See, this is where people get wrong. They start losing everything, and then they trying to hold on to a car car. They're trying to hold on to an apartment. They're trying to hold on to old friendships that no longer serve them for where they are. And so you need to really assess, okay, if I'm working every day for the next 30 days, and at the end of that 30 days, I cannot get right, something's wrong, baby. Something's massively crackhead level drug problem, need therapy wrong. I would even say take your $300 and pay for Talkspace.com therapy for a month so you can start talking to somebody. Okay, now you're gonna say, well, Erica, damn, I'm working every day. I didn't say you're doing this forever. I'm saying for the next 60 days, you need to stack as much money as possible. Huh? Concert junkie? Anyways, sorry. Let me stay focused because I can't even look at y'all. Y'all will get me thrown off track. Okay, so now you've been doing that for 60 days. Now, hopefully you have enough money. If you've been working this as hard as you've been working, that you know enough people in your circle that you can go do something else, or you do more mobile notary, or you do more, there's a career you're trying to do, or a certificate you need to study for to get into a different job, or a class you need to take, or a YouTube video or a motivational tape you've been listening to, and you're like, yo, I'm gonna go get a tech, or I'm gonna go do this with Tamika, Women Unlimited, every Tuesday, whatever, right? And then you can pivot left or right. But a lot of times when people tell you these homeless stories, they had a car and went down, they did, what they really are telling you is, I was holding on to a woman, a man, a situation, an apartment, a house that did no longer serve me. And instead of letting it go, I held on till it ripped my hand open. And that's what happens to a lot of people. So if you have to start over from scratch, let's say, unfortunately, you got divorced and old girl's like, you got to go, you ain't got nowhere to live, but you got your car. Get real busy. Get you a nice apartment, get you a nice little hotel that you can pay, shower it up, but every day you need to be working. You need to clean that LinkedIn up. You need to clean up your thought process, get some therapy in Talkspace.com, and be processing, okay, what got me here? How did we get here? What happened? What was the numbers? Where can I go different? Listen, let me tell you, let me be very clear too. Don't be trying to pay no credit card debt. Don't be trying to pay your student loans maybe, but don't be trying to pay no credit card debt. Don't do it. You're trying to hold on to keeping this high credit score. Like, well, I needed to get an apartment. Man, there are so many ways to get an apartment without that. If you got a deposit, you got an apartment. What a lot of people do is they try, well, I'm gonna just keep this credit going so I can keep using these credit cards to live. No, baby, that game's not for you. You about to be homeless and you have to start all over from scratch. You need to really be starting over from scratch. So if you really hustle your butt hard for 2 months and in 60 days you got a stack, you can move to a new apartment. You start planning out, okay, I'm gonna get a couch this time in 3 weeks, or I'm gonna get this in 3 weeks, or that in a month, and you just plan your time out. But if it depends on the level of starting over from scratch. And for me, I'm gonna tell you, everybody I've talked to and I've counseled and unfortunately, like when I volunteered to do resumes at the homeless shelter, a lot of those people were still stuck in whatever got them there. There was a man there, clean cut, veteran. I was like, what's going on? He was saying how him and his wife had a falling out, and he left, and he ain't been back, and he's been homeless now. I said, well, how many years ago was that? It was 2 years. And I'm like, in 2 years of you getting mad at your wife, you walked out, I think she'd take you back, sir. A lot of times you hear these people, they don't want to apologize to people in their old life. They don't want to do a lot of stuff. And so if you don't want to do any of that, if you like, I'm not going back, cool. Now you got to move forward. Now, any of those scenarios when you have children changes the game plan, but it's still, I'm not going to give you the grace of like, well, I got kids and that's why I'm doing so bad. That don't make no sense. Don't blame the kids for where you at. I remember him calling you in the middle of one of your lives a couple of years ago. Yeah, Kevin Samuels called me while I was on live. And I've called him when his live was messed up at the time, just helping out. Hey, Eric, are you in ATL now? When is the meetup? Goddess Noel, I was sick, so I made the decision to not go to Atlanta and not cough all over people and not bring whatever germs I had to Atlanta or making it worse. Thank you for your $50 super chat. I will post when I am going back to Atlanta because I have a list of restaurants and places I want to go see in Atlanta. And I will post the meetup in advance. So this summer, yes, I'm technically off, and there will only be one live every other week, or like once on the Wednesdays or whatever for the guests we already have pre-scheduled for the rest of the summer. But we'll have a lot of pre-recorded content. And the only way you really have access to me is if you're either booking consult calls, which that schedule is greatly reduced, or you'll be in the Rise of 20% or the YouTube class. So that's where you'll see me. Again, the Rise of 20% tomorrow goes to the official $1,500 price point. So if you want to get in before that, that's today, that's the cutoff point. So I don't want to hear anybody say they didn't know. You've been advised for 2 weeks, the prices were changing. Us bringing on more clients, putting more things in there, and me and my future partnerships, I've partnered with companies that that just had to be what it was. So I had my first child at 39, says D Brown. At the hospital, there were women, 20-somethings having complications. I had a natural birth without drugs. Yeah, you know, a lot of people are into these old scenarios that don't really apply. What I tell people is if you look at women 42 to 50 sometimes, Black women, they look completely genetically different than young women, young Black women. And it's honestly the food they were eating, and they're probably like the last generation where the mom actually was cooking every night, right? My mom, we used to have these ridiculous bags of filled beans and a lot of veggies from the farm. And for a small child, for percentage of our childhood, we were like vegetarians. We only had cheese pizza. We only had, we didn't really eat a lot of fried food. I think we ate like fried stuff on Sunday. And my mom was like so tiny, and we saw these pictures. We're like, what's going on? She was like, I couldn't afford meat. So I just kept feeding her all these veggies. You know, she was it was in between the two years where she got divorced from my dad and remarried to my stepdad. But she was like, I was just trying to budget. So we ate a lot of veggies. And so you can see the genetic differences in some of the women in those groups. And so me seeing women who are 40 to 41, 42, 43 having babies doesn't shock me. I think it's a combination of diet. It's a combination of genetics, etc. Y'all mama's been feeding y'all Cheetos your whole life. You're going to look like your mama's been feeding you Cheetos. Purpose-driven life. What on earth am I here for? Yeah, let me go down the books one more time. Atomic Habits, Purpose-driven life, Who Moved My Cheese. Another great book is Lies We Believe, from the guy from my church. It's a national bestseller. And what was the other one I told y'all? There's probably another one in there. So. Yep, early 1990s, hardly any makeup. Yeah, all that stuff. Best way to start over is with a new place is at the bedroom. Amazon sells a king bed. Yeah, you can start over. For sure, all this stuff. Yeah, it's really sad. You can start over any time in your life. The hardships depend upon your circle of friends and network. I learned this in Atlanta that majority of the time, it's who you know. Solo dolo is a dead end. This is very true. 32 is still young. Think about KJ Rollins. Yep. Think about Oprah. Think about all these people that got fired and they just kept on. She had all 3 of her children outside the hospital. Like, oh Lord, y'all. Yeah. I mean, again, yeah, all these things are possible. Don't let people on the internet tell you something that they don't know. Yeah, things fall apart. It's a good book, y'all. So anyways, you guys, this is your girl Erica, Classy Climb Blog. I'm getting ready to go to Mortal Kombat. So I gotta go get these cough drops, and so I'm not coughing in the movie theater and my friends get mad. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. But again, listen, you are worthy of it. And the only way you'll become worthy and lead into your future and your purpose is if you believe so and you start surrounding yourself around with people and like-minded people who think like you and who also believe they're worthy of wealth. So, and I don't just mean worthy of wealth, I mean worthy of love, worthy of care, worthy of respect, all those good things, right? I do, yes, I do. For long-term clients, not always the 30-minute clients, like the hour clients or the clients that do monthly calls. Yes, we do. We do assessments. But yeah, listen, realize you're not disqualified. What are the links for the courses? Classyclimbers.com. Somebody can put it in there, but it'll be in the links in the show. Again, classyclimbers.com. Today is the last day you can get the pre-price for Rise of 20% Part 2 and the YouTube course Part 2. Prices go up tomorrow. Again, it'll be $1,500 for Rise of 20%. And YouTube course, we haven't decided, but all those prices are going up because, again, the quality of what you're given, we're doing over a year of free coaching, bringing in just over 50 new business guests, who are coaching of their free will and time and giving you an hour and 30 minutes to 3 hours of like pure knowledge, gems, and conversations. You can't, I mean, anybody else teaching and having a course like this is $7,000 to $8,000. Trust me, I know, I take courses. So again, and this isn't a video course, this is actually a live community where you join the private Facebook group, you're getting direct access to people who their coaching starts at $2-3 grand. You're talking to several business friends that I bring on who really just bring the raw, gritty, and we'll have actually twice a week inside of the Facebook groups starting next week. So again, there's a lot of value in here. Hope you guys enjoy it. But again, this is your girl Erica, Classy Climb Blog. No, I'm not wearing an outfit to the movies. I want to see what other people are wearing though, because I think it'll be funny tonight. Anyways, you guys, this is your girl Erica, Classy Climb Blog. Later.